So hello everyone, here welcome to my review of Juuni Taisen episode 12, the final episode, and I might do a long review when I review the whole anime, but for now, through this episode, the epilogue of this episode, and I found it kind of meh, to be honest. Yeah, I was like, that's kind of my feeling. It was kind of like meh, it's pretty okay. Yeah, like it wasn't the worst ending. It has some philosophical thing. He's like whatever. I don't want anything to do with this thing. I'm gonna wish for nothing. Yeah, I wish to just forget. But I found it to be very badly placed, kind of how his wish was, and I hope it can be mistranslated. I mean, I listened to it again. My Japanese is pretty good. I was like that. I think it was correctly translated right, and I read people and so on, and it seems to be the same thing in the light novel. This is actually wish, and it's like that wish doesn't make much sense, to be honest. And I mean that from not saying that he should wish for like world domination or a harem, but I mean more like from his own perspective, that's a horrible wish. He wants to kind of get rid of the whole seeing, because there's a lot about the hate stuff in this episode, and it's like, I remember I loved this girl, I asked her out, that didn't work, so I reloaded, I asked her out, I played a vision novel game, right? But no matter what branch I took, I never won, so it was a horrible game. I tried all the different 100 paths, and they all failed, and I remember them all. I remember the emotion and the pain and so on, so I have like it's a huge pain. And I hope it's just like misguided how it's presented there. But what I mean is that, if anything, he should wish for removing his powers, right? And he mentioned that quite early too. It was like, maybe I should wish for removing my powers at like points 9 or 7 or so. I was like, man, maybe remove my powers. That was one of his like earlier ideas there, right? So that felt so strange to me, that was not what he did. Instead of removing his memories, which is the 100th possibility, right? Yeah, because it showed the different possibilities, right? And what would happen with them. So that felt really strange. Like, he should ask for, please remove my powers and the memories of ever having them, and and so on, like all the effect they ever had. That would be a way better wish, because then it would remove this whole thing. He would forget all those already created characters, and he would not have to be sent out to see it again, right? Because I think a big issue here is that this makes little to no sense. Because what happened is like 17 now, 16, and in like 2-3 years or whatever, right? His family is gonna send him out, and they're gonna be like, oh, you have these powers, so you have to go and like conquer, I don't know, some country, like Korea or something. Yeah, like go and conquer the neighboring country. Like, that's gonna be his thing, right? He has to go out there, and when he goes to war, he's weak, but he can see the probability of happening to him. So he can be like, oh, this path I lose this path this happened to me. So then he will have all those memories. So even if he doesn't remember exactly Juuni Taisen and people here, like Rabbit and so on, he will remember, getting whatever happened to him in any kind of war. And he's gonna force doing that thing. So it will be way more efficiently to just ask for, I don't want to have the powers to begin with, and saying specifically, I don't want to have my powers, and I want to have my powers, and also like remove every connection I have with that in my body and so on to the powers having it. That would also remove the memories, right? So like that never happened. I wish I was never born with his powers. It's like, I wish I was born with a normal person, having the same life but no connection to my family. Wasn't in this, like next to my family, something like that. That would result in removing the powers again, and not having to be forced into the different scenarios he probably will be now. So that makes like no sense then, and it was so strange too. That's why I didn't really like. That's probably the big thing I didn't like about it, because he did mention it way earlier, like in the beginning episode, but somewhat in the beginning episode, he did mention that maybe I should ask to remove my powers, and after that he went into like, maybe I should ask to improve my powers. I can say 1,000 pathways. Maybe that will help me find like the love of my life. If I use that power, that's like, no, that will lead to like 1,000 failures instead of like, one success. Yeah, so he's like, oh no, I don't do it. That's even worse. That's a tournament thing. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think that was bad in that sense. That's my biggest concern with the episode, because I say it again, my big issue isn't that he didn't resurrect everyone, that didn't stop Juuni Taisen and so on. I'll come to that later, but that's also an issue, an anti-climatic issue. But just generally, when it comes to this kind of wish, right, where it's like, I want to, be free from this thing. He did actually ask for that. He asked to just like not remember the specific thing, but he's not freed from his powers and so on. So that's, yeah, it just feels kind of weird, kind of funky, kind of half-conclusive and half-conclusive power thing. And I think there was poor writing there, I guess, then, because it to be said we should know. So anyway, then generally the episode is kind of like meh, because you, I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't, but I hoped that we were gonna have something like, in some kind of way, that he would take out the Juuni Taisen system and save these countries and people that are stuck in this kind of, oh, my whatever, king of my country sells my country away or whatever, like our neighborhood and so on. So for the border states and that. And I wish he would remove that. I wish he would remove that system from the world, and potentially I hope he would do that by resurrecting. And he talked about it very early. They should resurrect Monkey, because she's the righteous one, or resurrect the other people. But then right away it's like, oh wait, then I say Tiger and Dog. It's like, what, Tiger? Tiger's a good girl. You didn't say she's good. So I felt there was a lot of plot holes there, but yeah, he could resurrect just the good people, right? Yeah, like Ox, Monkey, Tiger, just people that were doing good stuff. Tiger was arguably not, but she's trying to do good stuff. She's redeemed herself and trying to be a good person. And even before that, she wasn't really evil. She was more kind of forced into it. And kind of whatever. I just, I feel bad about doing this thing. And she was a bit like Ox, right? Ox is a good person apparently in their flashbacks. Yeah, he's kind of good. Like she said, into people and so on. He's doing good stuff. So I mean, yeah, he could resurrect those two. Not the other ones. Maybe Horse. I don't know. Yeah, Horse are kind of more. Yeah. But something like that. Potentially even Snake and Dragon. They were for money. But maybe even those guys. Probably not. But especially not Rabbit. But use something like that. He could resurrect other people in the world. Something like that. And it's kind of meh. But I hope that he would resurrect them. And use the good guys to take out the Tyson, right? I think that would be a good, cool ending. Feel like there will be a very hype ending. Because I'm gonna. Vanity, yeah, if he's kind of lazy, right? But I think the same edition now. If he's kind of lazy, that's why isn't the ending? Why isn't more action? Why isn't the ending I'm gonna resurrect all the good people, potentially even the bad people, and we're gonna use the awesome army together and have to fight for me. You're gonna fight this evil corporation, evil government. Yeah, that would be a really badass ending. It was nope. I'm just gonna no memories. It's yeah, I think that was very anticlimactic. That he didn't wish for any kind of hyped dream that we all could see and have, right? I think that was very climatic. But also generally, I mean, the biggest issue still though is that it's why would you wish for the memory wipe? You should wish for memory wipe plus power wipe. Power wipe, that would include memory wipe probably in it. That's kind of how you would frame your wish. Whereas for two wishes, so I mean, you could definitely ask for, I wish I never had this power to begin with, and never blah blah, so on. Never memory as well. Yeah, it's I don't know, but maybe someone else will win if you reverse time, I suppose. But but something like that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, actually, Ox seems to win normally in most of its scenarios, so that probably wouldn't be bad. But anyway, that is a little weird. Then let's talk about the actual stuff, right? Okay, let's talk about the stuff, right? So, Boar was a harem. That's the one I was what's your harem? And I kind of feel like he means girls, because he was I don't know, necessarily not, but the way she acted his sisters, I was yeah, maybe. She is a weird person. Yeah, I can see that. Maybe both, but I can see it. But that's the kind of weird. Which isn't she really rich just anyway? Can she buy stuff with that? I don't know. That seemed kind of weird. I didn't get Dog's wish, but Dog was I'm doing this for the money for my daughter. That was super weird. I think one thing in the anime though, the anime has a plot, I'll come to that later, but I'm talking about it generally too as well. His whole backstory was nicely further explained. There was I saved this girl, I'm raising her, and I need to work and so on. But I was kind of I'm just assuming if you have this kind of profession, you make a lot of money. Normal in this world, right? In the reality that we live in, if you work in some kind of arms dealing and so on, you make a lot of money. And if you have superpowers and work at arms dealing, I assume you make a ton of money. I assume that they were all pretty rich. Where Monkey is I don't need money, I need my righteous path or something. And I don't know, Tiger is reading away or something. But it seems to be a pretty good profession. I feel it's full of Snake and Dragon. And Dog did a lot of assess stuff and so on. So, I mean, it seems like a big plot though. He's I have to do these things so I can get money to my daughter. But it's can't you go and look one job? And they probably pay you for one job, is probably a year payment at least, probably more. You do a few jobs, but you're one of the best guys in the world doing this thing. You have superpowers, yeah, and you do this for you do a few jobs, and then you can afford, to pay for whatever medical bills for your daughter easily. I mean, it's has one of the best paying jobs in the world, if you assume that. So it's kind of that didn't make much sense at all. Yeah, it didn't make any sense at all. Well, his wish like more money or something. He can just go and get more money by his job, right? Except being a kindergarten teacher. But I mean, like, he's not doing that. Like doing it outside. Or maybe he. It's kind of weird because he didn't say that he stopped doing his normal job. There could be a thing that's like when I have a daughter, I stop doing mine. But then I will go here. Whatever. It's just kind of plot hole, whatever. The brothers, they want money. Okay, fine. Ox doesn't really say what he wants. He said like righteous path or something. It's kind of like weird, yeah. He drops like a wet blanket on the whole tiger thing. Kind of sad. It's like she got her wish. She was like she wanted to be as Ox. He's like, she got her wish. She was the only one that got her wish. So I was like, man, that's too soon, man. Too soon, rat. Too soon. Mentioning that tiger accomplished her wish. Old man wanted youth. And I like that because that's one of the first things to talk about as for himself, like immortality. It was like, I don't want that. It's gonna be horrible. I wanna be immortal and I'm gonna remember everyone I love is gonna like, I don't want the thing. Yeah, like a classic curse thing. You don't wanna have immortality. So that was nice. They kind of quickly, it's like, no, not that thing. The rabbit wants friends with everyone, which is, he generally wants it, but what is friendship for him, right? So that's kind of interesting. Was it more? I like chicken. Yeah, chicken is like, I just want confidence. And I like how you respond to her, like, why don't you wish for not having your powers? Like, don't be in this thing then. It's like, yeah, that goes for that too. Yeah, because he's like, I want confidence, like, proud in my work, because I'm forced to do this work. For my family, he's like, you just wish to not be in your family. It's like, yeah. So he's even saying it to her as well, because they have a similar issue there. But neither of them kind of wants to have the power, right? It's like, why don't you wish away your power? It's like, good idea, man. But he doesn't do it later on. Yeah, so I'm like, whoa, plot hole. So plot hole is, yeah. I mean, anyway, the last thing I want to say, right, is that there's a lot of plot holes, though. A lot of them in his time power. I mentioned it last week, but there's a lot of them in this episode. A lot of them. Like, how would you explain that he's like, oh, I could talk to the brothers, the twins. It's like, how? I mean, one of them lost before you started the tournaments. So that means that he has to have a pathway, because that's why his powers doesn't work like that at all. So that is so forced, because that means he has a future. He has to see a future where he would save one of the brothers, right? And then somehow he would talk to them later on the roof or something. Like, his powers in this episode clearly didn't work like that. Like, clearly a huge plot over the whole episode with power, clearly, because that didn't work for a second. How his power would be able to kind of his powers he can change the future, but he has to actually act that, right? He can't just like, it's the same thing as the last thing we see both brothers Bruce, but also later on we see them fighting Ox, and he like comes there after Ox wins. Like, how would that happen? Because that looks like the same thing that we have seen in the anime, except that one of them, they're both kind of alive there, and it's like, but then he has to have changed the future somehow to get there. And he remembers that because he has to go back again. His power didn't allow him to go to those kind of planets mentioned earlier, so that completely goes against what they mentioned last week. You can't go in and then go back. Like, so he can't go in and go back, but also like go in and that's change. It's like if you go in a pathway and save somewhere, you can only go back to your save. That's kind of how his power works, right? So, but it feels like he has to go in and do several saves and then go back a little bit. So that doesn't make any sense. Like, he should be able to not see those branches. There's a crazy branch there to have them both alive fighting Ox, no necromancer. Yeah, that's super weird. And like talking to them, also weird. Talking to Boar, also weird. Because once he talking to Boar, just the moment kind of where she loses, the first minute of the tournament, it's kind of like that scene was really weird. He really jump in there, but you kind of see it, but also not really, because kind of like when he go in there and stop the fight then, But then we see later on when he talks to her, when she's like a zombie in the actual timeline, and then his power would allow him to talk to the zombie, right? And see, would it work? And as it work, I go back. His power would allow him to like go in there, change the past there. So like that was super weird, super forced plot holes there. There was a lot of those scenes there. Like, this makes no sense whatsoever. So he would have to travel into very specific pasts or like possible futures where he has changed the future, right? And then reaches it back again, so he loses. Like super forced. It was super forced. It really was super forced. I mean, I was like, man, what's happening? How would he do that? How would he create these kind of possibilities or whatever? I think it was gigantic plot holes the last episode. It was kind of like meh on that thing, definitely, and the witch thing was meh. So I think the other thing was a pretty bad episode. Really lackluster final. Someone say, oh, so he could see all the possibilities. He picked none of them. But it's not even true, because, again, he should have picked, like, I think it was like number 9 or 10 when he said no powers. That was a much better than number 100. It was like, lose my memory of this tournament. Like, what? You should lose the memory of your powers instead of anything. So that was like, no. He wasn't even doing the perfect 100 pathways there. He saw the different 100 pathways and then took it the wrong one. Right? So I think it was actually quite badly written. If anything, that thing should be last. And he said, maybe I should remember, it's a horrible dime. No, not really. And then number 100 should be, remove my power perfectly. Okay, that would be much better. So I think it was a pretty weak episode. Anyway, see you guys. Hope you liked my review of these all Juuni Taisen episodes, all of them. I think it definitely was a better anime in the beginning, though. Much better in the beginning, and then it kind of lackluster. Definitely, that's one thing. Though, yeah, it was better in the beginning. Anyway, I hope you like this, and I'll see you guys.